Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Carlos Phoenix with the Indie Lounge, and today I have a very special guest. Her name is Aurora, and she's coming in from, where are you located right now?
I'm in New York City.
New York City? Okay, give me 1 second so I can switch to you. Hi, how are you?
I'm good. Thank you, Carlos. How are you?
So, Aurora is a musician, also filmmaker. She likes to just dabble in a lot of different entertainment things, and she does do electronic dance music. And but you've mentioned to me that you do other types of music. So, tell us a little bit of what you do right now.
Well, pretty much pop electronica lounge. So within that, I do a lot of lounge and I do EDM, which is electronic dance music. Actually, the song that we released last, called Heaven, is the one that's been kind of getting opening doors. Is actually playing on a lot of secondary market radio stations and coming into primary markets now. We have it playing on like Party 105, which is a big Long Island station, and little by little it's been picked up in internet stations all across the world, which has been really great. I'm excited about it.
Now, I actually have heard your song, and I don't know if it was satellite radio or a local radio station, but I did recognize it, and then I was like, "Wow!" So this is you. So it's kind of cool because I did hear it before I even got introduced to you. So now let's step back, go back in time, and get an idea of where your background is from. Where were you born?
I was born in Puerto Rico, Rio Piedras, Puerto Rico, and I was raised half in Puerto Rico and half in Florida, and then came to New York, finished my college in New York, and I've been here ever since.
Okay, so now you were born in Puerto Rico. Now, were there any musical influences starting from there, or did that occur when you came?
Yes, my grandfather used to play the guitar and the cuatro, and he was like an excellent musician. He wasn't big, famous, but he was known in the music
Right.
among the musicians. And I used to sit next to him every day and kind of listen to him playing. He passed away when I was 6 or 7, and he started teaching me how to play guitar. He taught me one day. He taught me like 3 positions, and like 3 days later, he passed away.
Wow.
And that kind of stayed with me, and it changed my whole life. I think because I always wanted to lean towards playing guitar. I never picked it up until recently, like 2 years ago. Um, but but the music was always in my family. My mom used to sing with Danny Rivera when she was younger.
Okay.
She didn't quite do it because her grandmother would not let her. She had a whole tour set up when she was underage. She was like 17,
Wow.
and her mother that raised her, which is a whole different story for another day. The mother that raised her, her aunt, did not allow for her to go, so she didn't, and she ended up eloping with my father and getting pregnant, married, and all that stuff. And here we are. So yeah, there's been a background in it. I'd been singing since I was 6, and ever since I sang my first song, which was "It's a Small World After All," I knew. Yeah, I was the little Indian girl with the little. I don't know if I was the Indian girl or the Mexican. I think it was like a combination of them. And they did the little braids and everything, and it looked so cute. And when I finished that song and we got that warm applause, I knew this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. And ever since, I've just been on every talent show in school. I knew I wanted to dive into production. And by the time I was 7, I started writing my little stories. By the time I was 14, I started writing my own songs. And I went to an academy for production, for TV production. And then I went to college for communications and production as well. And I got a minor on that. And then I came here to New York, and I went to college for business because I figure, it's all a business regardless.
That's true. Now, at what age? I know you said that it was in I guess, elementary school. But at what point did you say to yourself, business wise, that's what you're going to do? Like, when did you start getting into your first real production of a song?
Well, I did. I always try different routes, and sometimes things don't happen for a reason, I guess. But nothing really panned out until I did it myself. Like, I might have been part of a project here, a project there, but nothing really kind of panned out. And I guess things happen for a reason. Some things are happening for you today is maybe because you're being saved for something bigger. And I'm a firm believer of that. If once you find your true calling and you're very firm about it, it all kind of works to take you to where you need to be. And so those things don't really matter. But once I started doing it myself, it kind of started working out for me. And I was able to do a first album, which I did in my computer. I did the artwork, and when I did it, I didn't know anything about the music industry because I wasn't born with like a father who was had a record label or anything like that.
Right.
I mean, I came from like very, very humble beginnings, so I pretty much had to learn everything myself. And I did an album, and I didn't know about mastering, so it never made mastering.
Okay.
I did a single, which is called Borinquen. I wanted to do that song for Puerto Rico. It's a song dedicated to Puerto Rico. And that one was played in La Mega during an interview that I did with La Mega. I got a little bit of help there. And I did all the Puerto Rican Day parades and events in the city. I did them all. So that was kind of great to get me out there. Then after that, I did another album, which was more lounge hip hop roots, because it was over hip hop tracks, and that one's called Temperatures of My Life. That's on iTunes. It's also on my Reverb Nation, One Aurora Music. Well, actually, it's One Aurora. That one.
That's how it's listed in iTunes. One Aurora.
Yes, One Aurora.
Okay.
Oh, in iTunes, no. In iTunes is under my real name, Xiomara Medina. That was
now
my first.
Okay, now we can introduce the world to your real name.
My real name, yeah. Aurora is a name that I adopted, and ever since I adopted that name, it sort of kind of like really gotten me through, or broke the ice kind of thing. But the first two albums I did under my name, Xiomara, or Zio. And the first album, I put it out, and during the time I put that album out, I was going through a dark time in my life. And that album was sort of like my way of healing. It's like the only thing I was able to do to heal myself through that time. So there's a lot of heavy things there. And
now I'm looking, for example, at the album that says So Alive.
That's the second album.
Okay, so the name of the first album was what?
The first one was Temperatures of My Life.
And now you mentioned these dark times. Was it because of a relationship or?
Relationship, yes.
Okay, because for different artists it varies. The way I see it is a lot of artists either get emotional about a relationship, of course, naturally, and then other times it might be financial because they're trying so hard to be on their own, and sometimes it's hard to get the parental support, that type of thing.
Well, I had both of those going on.
So it was really dark times. It was double whammy.
Yeah, I had all of the ones, all of the above. So yeah, the first one is pretty much, it was pretty much relationship and financial. So it was a dark time.
Now, what song do you think represents that album the most?
I'm sorry?
What song do you think represents that album the most?
Nothing Stays the Same, probably.
Okay.
or A Love Like Mine, one of those two. Actually, A Love Like Mine would definitely have, it has more of the what I was going through.
Well, I'm going to play a small clip if you don't mind.
Okay, great.
Nothing stays the same. Nothing stays the same. But you are not to be blamed. Oh, no, no. Soon everything will change.
I did find A Love Like Mine.
Without me, I'm sure that you'll be fine.
Now, so this stuff you did on your own.
Yes.
So is this like a home recording studio?
No. Well, actually, it was, but I did it with a producer. It was in his house.
Okay.
And he's more of a hip hop producer. So what we did is I took the tracks that I liked and I made melodies and wrote the songs to his tracks. And, that's what I had at the moment. Those were my resources. So you have to work with the resources you have and,
Right.
grow from there and experience things, learn from them, and move on and do other things.
So
hopefully, you grow sound-wise and as an artist.
Now, working on that first album, obviously there was a lot of lessons to be learned. What do you think for you was like the number one rule of, you know what, I made this one little mistake, I should not do that again?
I wish I would have listened to that one person who told me, you know what, if you're going to spend this amount of money, get yourself a top producer, pay him what he's worth, and get that one song done that's going to really break through. And instead, I said, no, but I had to get all this out. For me, it was more about getting it was more of a healing thing than it was.
I see what you're saying.
So to me, I just had to get these songs out, and they were bugging me. And when a song is bugging me in my head, I have to get it out somehow, And so I didn't listen to that, and I wish I would have, because I probably would have been a lot further in my artistic career. But sometimes it's not all about that. Sometimes it's about your internal growth. As an artist, you grow internally and you learn things that otherwise you wouldn't have.
Understand. Now, by the time you got to your second album, first of all, from your first album to your second album, did you do any projects in between?
Musically, no. And I was itching already. I have to do another album. Yeah, not musically. I wanted the second one, I wanted to make it more lounge, because the songs that actually got more attention were the lounge sounding ones.
Okay.
So I wanted to do more lounge, and that's what I did. And the second one actually was a great album. I love it.
Now, what's your favorite song on that album? Now, that's the one that's called So Alive.
So Alive. I love Morning Pleasure. Morning Pleasure actually got picked up by a compilation in Germany.
Oh, nice.
And I was part of this compilation with big names like Sophie Baker from 07, 07 Waiting Online. You know that song. Come on, you gotta know 07. You know 07. Wait
I'd have to hear it.
till your time. You know that one, right? No. Oh man.
I'm a horrible host. I don't know anything.
So she was in that compilation, and a lot of great artists of that genre of lounge music, they were in the same compilation. So that gave me a nice kick.
Now that one definitely is a different sound for sure.
Yes, very different.
So,
Writer, I was I was out of this horrible dark place.
now were you
And I was
dating
in
someone at the
Russia.
time?
Huh?
Were you dating somebody at the time?
Yeah. I don't remember. It probably was. I probably was.
Sorry, buddy, you were not that important.
I think I was. I mean, the lyrics kind of, you know.
Okay, no biggie.
But after a storm comes the sun again, you know. So that was kind of like the sun coming and shining again. And there's another one that's like a really, like, people really love it. It's Addicted to Your Loving. That's more R&B. And that was me kind of playing around with different things, but it's different sounds. That was lounge album.
I lost you for a second,
It's okay.
but I'll play your music in the meantime.
I don't know what this is. I don't see you.
Say it again.
I can't see you.
Oh, it's okay. I'm pretty ugly.
No, don't say that.
Oh, there we go. Is it showing up yet?
Yes,
I'm here.
I'm here too. So yeah, that was. I'm really proud of that album. It has a lot of great sounds in there, all within lounge, the umbrella of lounge, and now I did a couple of other projects in between. It's a single market, so I've been doing singles, and I
Yeah, so that has changed a lot. Now, in the time that you were doing this, how do you feel the music industry was changing?
it changes rapidly, and you're doing a whole album, but when in reality, you really need to hit with that one single and concentrate. A lot of it is promotion. So, let's say you did a song and you spend, a lot of people don't know how much work it takes to make a single even, or an album. It takes a lot of work.
Mm-hmm.
And unless you do a rush job and you put it together, boom, bam, and it still takes a lot of work.
Yeah.
And the most work, it doesn't stop when you're done with your album. No, that's just the beginning. So it takes, if let's say you spend $1,000 in your single, or $2,000 in your album, or $5,000 in your album, you need to count 3 times that or more for promotion, because the promotion takes that much more.
Now, promoting an independent single that you're mentioning, where do you aim that marketing? Where do you aim that promoting?
You have to concentrate in artists that you sound like, and aim it to those people. Aim it to the market where you want to be, because.
So, are you using social media, or are you going? Where are you promoting? How are you promoting?
Now social media is the biggest way of going, because it's really like the platform that we have that makes everything equal. It's where an independent can actually say, here I am. Yeah, social media is more of an even platform. It's where people pick what they like, and they get the information of who they want to hear. And from there, I think that even like major radio stations and other companies, record companies, would actually pick and see who's doing what. I think the listener has a lot to say.
Okay. Now, in the mix of all this work that you're doing music-wise, you decided to start doing films.
Yes. Well, I did. I edit all my videos, and I knew I wanted to do film because I had ideas already for film, and everything kind of goes hand in hand. And I know I could do a film and put my music or get other artists' music that I like and put it on it. And I wanted to start experimenting with that. And we did a short called Genesis 39. And that doesn't have my music on it. It has somebody else's music on it.
Okay.
But I do play the lead, and I edit and produced. I didn't direct.
Now, what's that about?
That is, the director wanted a story from a biblical story. And so I took Genesis 39, which, the Bible puts, like, most of the stories of the Bible, except for a couple, are the woman figure is so rigid and limited. And for the most part, there's not that many female characters that are seen in a good light. This one, I liked it because it was simple and it was easy to get it done with a small budget. Okay. And there was a 2-paragraph parable of Joseph's early days in Egypt, and I kind of conformed that to like actuality, how it would play out in today's world, and that's Genesis 39.
Okay. Ma'am, I doubt that's the case.
Why, Joseph, do you find me attractive?
Very attractive. He's probably just busy with his case, that's all.
No. Are you married, Joseph?
Mm-mm.
What kind of woman do you like?
Well, I really don't discriminate. As long as she's...
But do you like busty women?
Yes.
Do you like these?
Potiphar kind of bought Joseph from slavery and brought him home, and his wife made a pass. Long story short, his wife made a pass on him, and when he denied her, she ran out and got the authorities and said that he had raped her. And then they took him to jail, and that's when the whole king interpreting the king's dreams and all that stuff happened after that.
Wow. Yeah, I saw it. I was like blown away at the very end when everything was like this weird twist.
Again. Don't say the end, so people can watch it.
Yeah, when the dragons came out, and
the dragons came out.
You got to see it. Cool. All right. So then you got into that, and then you're also doing your own music videos. So, you mentioned you went to school.
Yes.
And what did you focus on in school? Now, I know business, but
cool. Stay in school.
Wow.
That's bad, right?
You gotta warn me next time.
Not cool at all. No, it seriously helps. But you have to know what you're doing too. Like, for instance, in film, in the film world, like, business is great. It helps you. Going in college for business was the greatest thing I've done, because it gave me the tools to know business. But in production, there's so many tools today that you learn that you won't learn in any school out there, but you learn by doing it. So that's that you have to know.
Okay. Now, there's a couple things that I saw on your website. One is like a video that is just following you around. And I don't know what's.
That's Bay.
And what's that about?
That one was about. You didn't know what it was about? You're supposed to know what it's about.
No, I'm trying to get you to introduce it to the audience who has not seen it.
Yeah. Well, that one was about that impossible love that you kind of meet. This girl is very bald. The video is about that chase, but instead of it being a guy chasing the girl is the girl chasing the guy, and how like then I have a muse in there who's the one that's always overlooking from somewhere in space. She's always like checking things out and making connections happen, kind of thing. So when something didn't happen at that point, at the end, she finds the guy, and so it happens that he was in the studio where she was supposed to meet him later. But at one point, it's that whole thing of like sometimes things might not happen at a specific point, but they happen later, or things happen for a reason. Or
Now, one thing I'm finding overall about you and your videos, and you as a person, you're very aggressive. You're very, I mean, you know, a lot of the videos are very seductive. I'm just like, ay Dios mío.
Ay, Dios mío.
And I imagine that's intentional. Is that, I mean, is that intentional, or?
Well, as a woman, I have to embrace my sexy side. I like to be sexy. I like my sensuality, and as a woman, we all like to look pretty, beautiful, and that's something that we all have to. I mean, regardless of, you know, if you have an extra pound here or there, if you have something you don't like about yourself, concentrate on the things that you do like, and just be who you are and be happy with what you have. And I think that gives you a bigger confidence overall.
Now, is that a message that you are kind of attempting to portray on your productions, or is that just how things lined up to be? I just
like to be me. I love fashion. I love, I see what other people do too. And, you know, it's a give and take. I mean, we're in this world and we feed off of each other. And, you know, I get ideas from paintings sometimes. And you know, I could be looking at a picture and I say, I want to do that for my next video. So it's sort of like, at the same time, a painting might be inspiring me, or another video, or another artist, or just something that happened in my life might inspire that. And at the same time, I look forward to inspiring other artists and other people and other things. So it's like a give and take kind of.
Who are your inspirations? What are your influences coming from?
There's so many places that I draw from. Sound-wise, I like to say Shaka Khan. I love her stuff a lot. Yeah. I like Christina Aguilera. I'm talking about sound-wise. Christina Aguilera is amazing. A lot of lounge artists, because there's a lot of female vocals in the lounge world. So a lot of those. Sophie Baker, I love her stuff. She's amazing. And Sia. I love Sia. I think she's extraordinary. She's got her own style, her own way of doing things. I love that. And image-wise, I like stuff. I mean, I look at top 40 stuff pretty much for image-wise. I see what other people are doing. I love Shakira. Shakira does things, and, you know, she doesn't limit herself. I love that. She's very she's a risk taker, and she doesn't, you know, she has different styles. She's done rock, she's done bachata, she's done reggaeton, everything within her sound. Like, she makes it hers. And I love that. I like to take risks too. Cool.
Now, what are you working on now?
Now I'm working on the video for Heaven, which has been a lot of work because it has a lot of different pieces. I'm dealing with all the elements. I'm very into like energies. And I like to play with things of nature, and this one has the 4 elements of earth, wind, fire, and it has a lot of pieces in there. So it's been one of the hardest videos.
I just see the pressure you're going through right now.
the hardest videos to pull together, and I ran out of budget halfway through it, so I'm kind of wing it the rest of it. But I want to get it done because I don't want to look back and say I didn't get this part in, or it's not complete. That's like Picasso didn't finish his big piece of art, and to look back and say I didn't put this part, and always have that, because that's another thing with my first album, is that I listen to it and there's things in there that maybe somebody else doesn't hear, but I hear, and I'm like, I wish I would have changed that. I wish I would have done this, and I don't want to feel like that with the video. I want it to be complete.
Okay, I get that. Now tell me about Heaven. What? I mean, I like the song. I'm gonna put it on for a second. Okay. Now, of course, that's one of the mixes. This is the original song.
And
What was that?
and then the dubstep one.
Is that the Vic Latino?
No, the Big Latina is the one you just played before. This is the original, and then there's a dubstep one.
Okay, I see it. I just want to show off your voice.
Let me take you to heaven, heaven, heaven. We'll be flying forever to heaven, heaven.
Yeah, it's
I think this is the dubstep one.
We'll be flying forever.
Is it?
I think so.
Let me take you to heaven, heaven, heaven. We'll be flying forever to heaven, heaven.
Very cool. So yeah, I mean, I know, and I could swear maybe I've heard it in. How long has that song been out?
I put it out at the end of last year,
Okay.
so
Okay.
about 6 months now.
Very cool. Oh yeah, I look forward to that video. I've seen little behind the scenes things. Now we know Soy from Soy Fabulous. She does a show on the Lounge Network. And how do you know her?
I met her through a friend of mine, Angelica Kenton.
Okay, so Angelica is the connection. Got it.
Yeah. She introduced us together in New York, and she was doing her show, Soy Fabulous. Mm-hmm. And they interviewed me back when Angelica was single.
That's right.
Huh?
That's right. I forgot she just recently got married.
Yeah, it was actually in one of the shows of her now husband.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So Angelica will be, I think, releasing something soon. Soy just released her album.
Yes.
And I was blessed enough to be able to do the album cover for that. And I'll
Nice
put it
work.
up there. Thank you very much. And so after Heaven, what's going to happen next?
Then I'm gonna fly to After Heaven. What's After Heaven? I don't know, right? I think that's the ultimate. I'm working on a couple of different productions. I'm working on Kiss by the Sunlight, and another one, Who Do You Love Now? And those are just productions, musical productions, but we are getting ready to do a film, a feature film.
Nice.
So that's going to take like the whole pretty much June, July kind of thing. And in between those, I could always go record my songs and then go back to set. I like to be busy all the time, so that's how I get a lot of things done.
Cool. Now, do you do anything for other people? I know you work with some other people, but as a business, is the business focused on your own productions, or are you collaborating in some way, shape, or form?
I definitely I'm open to collaborations. In the music side, I definitely collaborate with different producers. I definitely have a lot of songs. As a songwriter, I definitely am open to collaborations and for film as well. But right now, we're doing our own projects just to get those out, and there's just one idea after the other. You get so busy, but I do work as an editor. I've done other projects for other people as an editor.
Okay, cool. And what are you using to edit, if I may ask?
Premiere, which
Okay.
is taking the market now because Final Cut. I have Final Cut 7, but I really never switched to 10 that much. You switched to 10? I hope you did.
I'm a hardcore 10 person now.
Yeah?
Yeah, it was a little tricky, initially, but now with all the updates and everything, it's hard for me to go to Premiere. And I know if you're doing a film, that might be a different story.
Yeah, because it's better 4K on Premiere. It just works better with the especially Red.
Well, Red integration on 10 is pretty impressive. But I think the traditional method of editing and keeping things organized is what keeps some people away. I like the speed of everything. I think 10, I can probably knock out things faster than I could ever have done it either with Premiere or Final Cut Original Studio. But anyway, we're not going to turn this into an editing.
That I think the speed you develop it, the more you do. Because Premiere, I wasn't really big on it as I was with Final Cut. And because of the 10, I really didn't like it at the beginning. So there were a couple of things like when it attaches the audio automatically to the visual, and I hate that because I'm big with cutting stuff and taking audio out or moving audio and stuff like that, and it was kind of hard, and I got frustrated with it, and I really didn't like the new look of it. So I switched to Premiere, and I'm a lot better now at Premiere. The more I work on it, the faster I get. So I think it's like everything else. The more you do it, the faster you're going to get with it.
Yeah, of course. Very cool. So
switch. It's more precise.
I started with Premiere ages ago. Then I got into Final Cut. Then I used to teach Final Cut. And then I got into 10. And the workflow in 10 is just so smooth, so quick that I can't go back to the... What was that?
CC? Premiere CC?
Yeah, I mean, I have it. I just... I tried to do one project on it, and I'm like, oh, there's a lot more manual labor involved. There's so many things that you can do in the new Final Cut that it's just... It thinks some things for you, particularly with green screening or multi-camera. If I'm doing like a 4-camera shoot, it is just so... You just put 4 cameras, you're like, you know what to do, and it just does it, and I don't have to...
Really.
And then I just say, okay, camera, and I'm done in like minutes. So, and in Premiere or even in the old Final Cut, it just wasn't that quick and smooth. So,
That efficient.
but yeah,
I have to try it and see.
Yeah, and it's only $300, so I'm like, I still got my big box of Final Cut, the massive with the books and everything, and I'm like, ugh.
Yeah.
So now it's just really quick and easy, but.
And you look back to like 5 and 5.5 and
yeah, so much has changed.
more, and they were so simple.
And then the color correction's a little bit easier. It's not deep, but for the purposes of what I need it for. But anyway, now before without getting into a whole editing show.
I know, because everybody's going to be like, what?
Well, some of the interviews actually turned out into a technical show, and it's like, I thought we were talking about their life. So,
we need to mention the other ones. Avid,
Oh yeah, Avid's there and Media 100, I think, and let's see what else is out there.
There's another program. Somebody told me that they felt it was good. I was like, I gotta look for it.
Probably Sony's. Sony has I can't.
Yeah. I think that's
Vegas. They use Vegas.
Yes, that's it.
Yeah. And at times I shoot with my iPad and edit an iMovie inside of the iPad.
Oh, I know, but iMovie. Yeah, I've done stuff with like at the beginning with my videos. The beginning credits, I did those in iMovie.
Well, you'd be surprised at some apps that you can actually download to create like 3D animated intros and stuff.
Yeah, and they're fairly quick, and you do them very quickly, and they look good. They look pretty good. I mean, now I can't do that. I can't do that now. I have to make my actual After Effects. I can.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, no, I can't do the.
So you really you're a geeky girl.
I can't utilize those tools. I have to do everything from scratch, kind of thing.
So you're fairly geeky then. In a good way.
Well, I don't know if I'm officially a geeky person. I guess there is a geeky side in me.
Well, tech. I mean, I don't know.
Well, I wore, I was as geeky as I wore my 4th of July Star Wars T-shirt on the 4th of July. I mean, 4th of July.
May 4th.
May 4th.
Okay, I didn't even do that, and I'm a big Star Wars fan.
Oh, man. I think that flags me as a little geeky.
Well, that's cool. All right, well, I think we're done. Unless there's something you want to promote or push, or I know Heaven's in iTunes, obviously, and with a bunch of mixes,
Yes.
which I think everybody will enjoy, and hopefully in the nearest nightclub near you, you can enjoy Heaven because it's just a great beat. I like it a lot.
Thank you.
But what else is there out there? How can people find you?
They could go to auroramusic.com, and that's number one. auroramusic.com. I post everything that we're up to. As soon as this is out in the air, let me know. We'll post it everywhere, and we keep everything updated. My Twitter is one Aurora Music, and my Facebook page. All of them you could grab them from my website.
Very cool. Well, Aurora, thank you so much for being on the show. Guys, thank you so much for joining us. And I'll be staying, in contact with her. She's got a lot of things going on, and I know it's just going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. So
Thank you.
hopefully, this will be a show that you're going to use as a welcome mat to introduce some of the projects you're doing to the rest of the world. And again, guys, if you've seen previous episodes, you know that the lounge is going to be having a new set, a new location. The Lounge Network will remain, but we'll be getting advertisements and stuff like that. So we'll be growing as we're helping others grow. And thank you so much for watching. Thank you again, Aurora. And
in your show.
Oh, my pleasure. Have a great day. And don't go anywhere. I'll be right back. And guys, thank you so much for joining us. Bye-bye.